Hi, everyone. My name is Monica. I'm an alumni from Carleton School of Social Work, and I want to welcome you to the trailer for our new podcast, which is called Voices in Social Work. So, before I start, I'll say that Carleton University sits on the traditional and unceded territory of the Algonquin Nation. I know for me personally, I'm understanding that everything that I get to have is possible because I use land. And so I know I have a responsibility to support Indigenous communities who have suffered because of land being taken from them or being used to hurt them. So I'm still trying to figure out some specific ways that I can support Indigenous communities with this podcast. So hopefully I'll have some updates about that in future episodes. So I wanted to talk about what this podcast is, why it's starting up. So the purpose of this podcast is to start up some new conversations between students and faculty and community partners of the Carleton School of Social Work. I know Carleton does a good number of co-curricular and extracurricular events. A lot of these events, especially the online ones, recently in the past year or two, often don't reach a lot of people because they tend to happen at fixed times. They're live events, which to me is kind of too bad because a lot of these events are the ones that end up sharing the perspective of traditionally marginalized groups. And I know for myself, I still remember one or two moments during events that I attended at Carleton where I had a shift in perspective where I realized, oh, I hadn't ever seen this new part of my privilege before. This podcast is a way to put out this same kind of content asynchronously, so you can access it whenever you have time. And also in smaller pieces, and hopefully that will inspire some new conversations in class or at work or wherever you are. So each episode will be a 20 to 30-minute conversation with a guest that's going to come on here, and it'll feature an important idea in the field of social work that I want to learn more about. And we'll also talk about how this idea could be applied to someone's social work practice out there. So all of the episodes that are being planned right now are related to race and racism, but I think if we're able to continue this podcast in future semesters, then I would definitely be open to covering other topics as well. So if you hear something that interests you, talk about it in class, write a research paper on it, ask your professors, talk to your coworkers if you're working, integrate it into your practice somehow. Hopefully that will help us as a field see more perspectives and do better work and maybe change some important mainstream ways that we talk about social work as well. So this is a pilot project. The plan is to produce bi-weekly episodes for the winter 2022 semester. So probably going to be about 5 or 6 episodes in total. And our real first episode will be released in about 2 weeks. They'll be available on most major podcasting platforms. A specific list will be coming soon. As well as on the School of Social Work's YouTube channel. So if you want updates about when episodes are going to be released, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You could follow this podcast on any podcasting platform it appears on, or if you want other updates too, you can also go to the School of Social Work's Twitter. I'll be posting on there whenever new episodes get released as well. Again, this is just something we're trying out to see what kind of response we get. Sorry in advance for the audio and the video quality, but if you like anything else that we're doing, please leave comments, download podcast episodes, share the podcast so that we can get some more funding for next year. If you have any suggestions or other kinds of feedback, we're also going to have an email address where you can send all of your feedback. It's not fully set up yet, but again, I'll provide that in a future episode when it's all set up. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching or listening, and I hope you enjoy the podcast this semester.